6:45 a.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Lal Mallavarachi, assisted by Sanjaya, and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. The President instructs the officials to use funds spent on the chemical fertilizer to encourage the organic fertilizer production. The ports, petroleum services, railway and public transportation services, the district secretaries, the Grama Nidadari services, the state banks and the insurance services have been declared as essential services. 2,572 more persons have tested positive for the coronavirus yesterday, increasing the total number to 174,849. Another consignment of the Russian COVID-19 vaccine Sputnik V arrived. Over 300 Army and Navy personnel deployed to prevent the people from collecting debris. The UN human rights body is to investigate violence in Gaza. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has instructed the relevant officials to take steps to provide the organic fertilizer required for the Maha season to the farmers without any shortage. The President has also emphasized the importance of implementing a comprehensive mechanism in consultation with all sectors in this regard, the President's media division states. The President's objective is to transform the entire agricultural sector of the country to use organic fertilizers. President Rajapaksa pointed out the need to achieve this goal, which aims for the benefit of the future generations without causing any hindrance to the farmers. For this purpose, the production capacity of organic fertilizers should be increased. The President instructed the officials to import the required quantity of high-quality organic fertilizer if the quantity of fertilizer produced locally is not sufficient. The President gave these instructions during a special discussion held with the officials of the Ministry of Agriculture and the organic fertilizer manufacturers at the Presidential Secretariat recently. An extraordinary gazette has been issued declaring several services as essential services considering the current COVID-19 situation in the country. The ports, the petroleum services, the railway and public transportation services, the services offered by the district secretaries, the Grama Nidadari officers, the local government bodies, the central bank, state banks and insurance services have been declared as essential services. Once again, an extraordinary gazette has been issued declaring several services as essential services considering the current COVID-19 situation in the country. The ports, the petroleum services, the railway and public transportation services, the services offered by the district secretaries, the Grama Nidadari officers, the local government bodies, the central bank, state banks and insurance services have been declared as essential services. The Ministry of Health reports that another 2,572 persons have tested positive for the coronavirus yesterday. All the new cases are associated with the New Year COVID-19 cluster. This brings the total number of COVID-19 cases confirmed in the country thus far to 174,849. Presently, 29,652 infected patients are being treated at hospitals and treatment centres across the island. Meanwhile, the number of total recoveries has reached 143,789. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The head of the National Operations Centre to Prevent COVID-19, Army Commander Shavendra Silva says that the second round of the COVID vaccination program will commence on the 8th of next month. Accordingly, the group which was given the first dose of the Sinopharm vaccine will be given the second dose. The Army commander said that 375,000 doses have been allocated for them. These vaccine doses have been set apart from the 500,000 Sinopharm vaccine doses received from China. The remaining 125,000 doses will be given to persons in Galla, Mathura and the Kurunegala districts, selected from the priority list of the Health Ministry. Sri Lanka is expected to get 3 million Sinopharm vaccine doses from China. Meanwhile, another consignment of the Russian COVID-19 vaccine, Sputnik V, arrived in Sri Lanka yesterday. The stock of 50,000 doses of the vaccine was delivered to the health authorities at the Katunayaka airport. The COVID vaccination program was launched yesterday in selected areas in the Galla and Mathura districts. The vaccination program will be conducted on the recommendations of the Epidemiology Unit. The Postmaster General Ranjit Aryaratna says that all post offices and sub-post offices will be kept open from 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. today and the day after. These post offices are functioning only to pay the allowances and pensions related to the month of May. The people who come to obtain pensions and their senior citizen allowances should forward their pensioners' ID and their elders' identity card. A large contingent of over 300 army personnel of the Quick Reaction Team, the Drone Unit of the Artillery Regiment and the Bomb Disposal Squad were positioned on the directions of General Shavendra Silva, the Chief of Defence Staff and the Commander of the Army yesterday morning along the Negombo-Poruthattu coastal belt of about 6 kilometres to prevent the people from collecting debris and floating items of the ill-fated container ship Express Pearl, still on fire off the Colombo harbour. As reports reaching Colombo and the police confirmed that the people along the northwestern coastal belt were collecting toxic debris and floating items of the container ship gutted by the chemical explosion on board, the Army headquarters was asked to provide additional troops to help the police to disperse those people. That's local news.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The UNOPS handed over the first batch of 40 essential high-flow oxygen machines and 100 syringe pumps for use in COVID-19 treatment centres at the Health Ministry earlier this month. The equipment is part of the World Bank's emergency procurement support to COVID-19 response projects valued at over $6.4 million. The total amount of oxygen-related COVID-19 equipment under the project is estimated to be over $2 million.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And now in Watchlight, the police inspected 3,397 three-wheelers and 25 of them were taken into possession for violating quarantine rules during a special search operation in the Western Province on May 26th. 32 persons in the three-wheelers were arrested and were to be produced in court yesterday, the police media spokesman said. He said that 3,087 persons were checked at 14 departure and entry points in the Western Province and 102 persons not travelling for essential services were identified and warned. The police media spokesman said that if a person belongs to an essential service, he or she should submit an identity card or another document proving that he or she works for an essential service. That came to you in Watchlight and now in World News headlines. The UN human rights body is to investigate violence in Gaza. Russia blocks some flights for avoiding its ally Belarus. The world at risk of hitting temperature limit soon. The UN Human Rights Council has voted to investigate violence in the recent conflict between Israel and Hamas. The body approved the resolution brought by a group of Islamic countries by 24 votes to 9. But the United States said the decision threatened to endanger progress in bringing calm to the region. At least 242 people were killed in Gaza and 13 were killed in Israel during 11 days of fierce fighting that ended on Friday with an Egyptian brokered truce. Russia has denied entry to 2 European airlines because they plan to avoid flying over Belarus to get to Moscow. Air France and Austrian Airlines have both had to cancel services after their flight plans were rejected by Russia. Some airlines are avoiding Belarusian airspace in protest after the government there forced a Ryanair plane to divert and land in Minsk on Sunday. A Belarusian dissident journalist and his girlfriend were then arrested. It's becoming more likely that a key global temperature limit will be reached in one of the next 5 years. A major study says by 2025 there's a 40% chance of at least 1 year being 1.5 centigrades hotter than the pre-industrial level. That's the lower of 2 temperature limits set by the Paris Agreement on Climate Change. The conclusion comes in a report published by the World Met Organization WMO. And now the main points of the World News segment once again. The UN human rights body is to investigate violence in Gaza. Russia blocks some flights for avoiding its ally Belarus. The world at risk of hitting temperature limit soon. That was World News, and now in development news, the Hambantota International Port, HIP, will partner with Intertech Lanka Private Limited to establish a state-of-the-art petroleum testing laboratory which will be unique to Sri Lanka. Through this facility, Intertech will provide innovative and bespoke assurance, testing, inspection and certification services. Johnson Liu, CEO of HIPG, says, quote, HIPG has great potential in energy services due to its location in the Indian Ocean Rim, where 50% of the world's maritime oil is traded. Our oil fuel bunker LPG and future LNG operations are sure to cement HIP's position as an energy hub in the region, unquote. Petroleum testing is an important activity in port-related services, such as testing marine products, bunkering and bunker-related inspections. Intertech helps to ensure that products meet quality, health, environmental, safety and social accountability standards for virtually any market around the world. That was Development News.
Sports News is brought to you by...
When Aya bought a motorbike, he bought 2 helmets. So sweet of him. I'm sure the other one is for me.
In whatever we do, we Sri Lankans are always thinking of others. When we get Munchie Super Cream Crackers, they're not just for ourselves. Munchie Super Cream Cracker. Super kiyanne nikan neve.
Sri Lanka is set to field a different combination for the third and final one-day international against Bangladesh at the National Stadium in Mirpur, Dhaka today. Sri Lanka has already lost the series 0-2 and are hoping to redeem some lost prestige before the England series. Meanwhile, the national selectors have expressed their disappointment of the team losing the series and have questioned as to why the team management did not change the combination after losing the first ODI.
My wife always sets a full lunch table even if it's just the 2 of us. She always expects people to drop by, like maybe the army.
In whatever we do, we Sri Lankans are always thinking of others. When we get Munchie Super Cream Crackers, they're not just for ourselves. Munchie Super Cream Cracker. Super kiyanne nikan neve.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
The automated utility bill payment with no intervention by the customer has brought about a new dimension in convenience for Combank credit card holders by offering them an option to automatically settle their monthly bills to the country's most widely used utilities. The latest addition to this convenient, hassle-free bill payment facility is the settlement of Mobitel and Waterboard bills. With travel restrictions and safety concerns due to the pandemic, Combank credit card holders need not go outside to settle their monthly utility bills.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
And now in economic news, Sri Lanka's tea production for the month of April 2021 totaled 29.58 mkgs, showing an increase of 8.76 mkgs, 20.82 mkgs of April 2020. All elevations have shown substantial gains, with high and medium groans in particular gaining 63% and 76% respectively over the corresponding month of 2020. The January-April 2021 cumulative production totaled 104.09 mkgs, recording a gain of 29.59 mkgs, 74.5 mkgs of January-April 2020. On a cumulative basis also, all elevations have shown substantial gains, with the low groans in particular gaining 43% over the corresponding period of 2020. That was economic news.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
The Met Department says showers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central and the northwestern provinces and in the Gala and Mathura districts. Fairly heavy falls above 50 millimeters can be expected at some places in the Sabaragamuwa province and in the Kandy and Nuwara Eliya districts. Showers or thundershowers will occur at a few places in the Uva province and in the Ampara and Battikilo districts during the evening or night. Wind speeds can increase up to 30 to 40 kilometers per hour at times over the island, and especially wind speeds can increase up to 50 kilometers per hour at times in the western slopes of the Central Hills, the northern, the north central and the northwestern provinces, and in the Trincomalee and Hambantara districts.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
And now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. The President instructs the officials to use funds spent on the chemical fertilizer to encourage the organic fertilizer production. The ports, petroleum services, transportation services, and public transport, the district secretaries, the Grama Niradhari services, the state banks and the insurance services have been declared as essential services. 2,572 more persons have tested positive for the coronavirus yesterday, increasing the total to 174,849. Another consignment of the Russian COVID-19 vaccine Sputnik V arrived. Over 300 Army and Navy personnel deployed to prevent the people from collecting debris. The UN human rights body is to investigate violence in Gaza. That concludes this news broadcast. You are with Radio Sri Lanka.